Alright, so this is going to be a little bit of a different video. So, World Tournament is boring, right? And everybody hates it. So, what we're going to be doing is just discussing, um, we're going to be discussing basically private servers while doing World Tournament because I can't really think of anything to do. And honestly, just having it where I'm able to like discuss something and then I guess have something in the background is probably best, right? So we'll go ahead and do World Tournament, and we're going to be basically discussing what I think is like I don't know if I would say it's a controversial issue right now, but it's definitely something that's getting a lot more people talking about it recently. So if you don't already know, there are private servers of Dokkan, stuff like Entropy off the top of my head, that can allow you to play the game on their own kind of like server, basically. Or, basically, like exactly how I said, it's a private server, right? So what this usually makes is you can get custom EZAs, you get custom units, custom animations, custom everything, right? And all in all, I will go ahead and say that stuff is cool. You can have rainbow units, you can have all of the stuff that you might not have on your main account. You can have it just to see how and test some of these units that you might think about acquiring. Uh, if I had the chance to go back and probably do just like a private server showcase on AGO Kale at 55% compared to just picking her up with coins, I'm gonna be honest, I probably would have taken that offer because there's a lot of these times where you're just wasting resources or you're wasting stuff trying to figure out like, hey, maybe is this worth it? Are these units worth it? Is this unit worth summoning for? Is this unit worth coining? And again, I do think that that does definitely help out. As much as people seem to forget that it definitely helps out to have stuff like that readily available. A lot of the times when we get the data downloads on JP or global, you can go onto the private servers and you can see early showcases of the units too. I know that people were looking at gammas and found an issue with the gammas where after standby, their attack boost would carry over even though it wasn't supposed to because it counted as a transformation. And even though it said temporarily, meaning that it was only supposed to be for the attack, they found out that it was actually just going ahead and just applying after the attack was done. Now, like I was saying, a lot of that stuff is very useful and very cool to like see beforehand, right? And not only that, but it just helps seeing and having the information. It's basically what I try to do with my videos, you know? I always try to showcase some of these units at 55% length 10. So that way you guys can see like, hey, if I have this guy and I only pulled him one time, this is the performance that I should be seeing. But with that out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about the bad stuff. So I think, like I was saying, there is good and bad stuff to the entropy, but I want to go ahead and state before I go ahead and say the bad stuff though, that I am very neutral on this topic, and I don't mind if the servers like all shut down tomorrow or if the servers were all okay tomorrow. How they handle or how basically this private servers go on does not affect me in any way, and I just genuinely uh I don't really have a stand. Like I don't really mind if they stay or if they go. But all right, so I got a text from somebody. So I'll just go ahead and say I got a text from my girlfriend. I don't want that showing up. Um, so I'll go ahead and say that I do not like the basically paywall of private servers, and a lot of them do have it. I get it. You're putting in a lot of work and you're putting in a lot of effort to have these private servers up and running. You know, it takes, you know, a good amount of resources to have all of this stuff up. It's stuff that if you were to get it in Dokkan would probably cost you a lot of money, right? It would definitely cost you a lot of money to rainbow every single unit like how it is on Entropy. It would take you a lot of money um to go ahead and put like equipment into some of these units. It would take a lot of money to just, like I said, rainbow everything and summon and not get shafted horribly, right? But again, that's not their resources at the end of the day. That's not something that they made. If it's a custom made unit, if it's a custom made stage, if it's a custom made anything, I am completely fine with them going ahead and paywalling that, because that's something that they made at the end of the day. And even then, it's still a little bit on, like, I'm still a little bit on the fence on that, specifically because it's using Dokkan's resources to do stuff like that. It's Dokkan's game, and as much as they might like want to admit, I don't think you should be able to charge for taking Dokkan's game. Uh, but then again, there are some stuff that, like I said, you probably just won't see in Dokkan either. So I know that I think on Entropy there was like um a Luffy card as well, and there's like One Piece characters that they've done. They've done stuff that I can't remember off the top of my head. They did like a Xeno Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta or something, like LRs. I thought that was pretty cool, but the the main issue that I have is just the fact that, like I said, they're locking stuff that you can just get in Dokkan regularly behind a paywall, to change the hidden potential of units, to put in certain equipment, to I can't remember what else it is off the top of my head, but I do know that like hidden potential and that equipment are paid for on some private servers, and that's just, it's so it's so weird to me, because like I said, you could just get that stuff in Dokkan regularly, and sure, it might cost you a lot less money to just give rent it monthly, I guess, on some of these private servers, but that's not theirs. They at the end of the day didn't make the stuff that they're charging. So it's just like, why? Why would you charge for something like that? I know that it's going to be a thing of like, oh well, we made it readily accessible for everybody, and again, you're not going to be able to get all of this stuff without having to pay for it, but they shouldn't be charging for it regardless. That's like if you take somebody's art and then because you put it online instead of having it where you have to buy it like in person, that you're like, oh yeah, instead of charging $100 to go buy this art in person, I'm charging $3 and you can download it online. $3 a month. Like what? Come on, you're not even supporting the artist at the end of the day. But yeah, I like I said, it's there's definitely good and bad stuff about it though. A lot of these units, we'll go back to the good side after just going on this whole rant of the bad side of it. But the good side of it too is that you could see a lot of these units before they're supposed to be released in game, and like I was saying, you could see some of the kits, because there are a lot of times where it is very, very difficult to see if something is going to perform as good as you want it to, and then it's just like 10 times easier to see how it is if you just have like a private server showcase, because then you could see the defense stats of all the multiplicative stuff if you're not like a very big person like Halvard who knows how to do some of these calculations. It's a lot easier to see stuff like that. And then some stuff is just like pretty hard to tell in game, like how it's gonna work, some things can be just worded in a certain way, and you don't really know how it's gonna turn out until after you are able to just go ahead and see it in game, and you go, okay, now I know how it works, because there's no way that there, like, guard didn't activate here, so I know that the guard doesn't activate until after I get hit the first time, not that it activates on the first hit, or and something like that, um it's a lot easier to see some of that stuff and see the performance in game, rather than being like, okay, well, I'm just gonna have to wait until I either pull a unit or I see somebody else make a showcase about it. And it obviously it does help, or obviously it does matter, because some of these private server showcases uh gets a lot of attention. There's a lot of people who look at these private servers, and they get like a lot of views and a lot of attention, because again, it does help at the end of the day. I think having it where you could have like custom colors that I've seen for some of some of these stuff is pretty cool. I can't remember what it was for specifically. Uh, they had like custom wallpapers for the homepage. They had it where I think health bars, like instead of being like a just like a gray, it was like a rainbow color or something. I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, and again, it's just more stuff like um it's just more things where it's just like having that custom stuff is pretty nice, and I'm okay if they charge for that. But it comes back to the point of why are some of the stuff that should be free being paid for, and then why are some of the the things that you probably should pay for uh they're free, but the stuff that, like, I don't know, it's just like now I'm stumbling over my words because I didn't really I didn't really have like a script. I just kind of wanted to say my thoughts on video while doing World Tournament. But I feel like it's almost like a shift should happen, right? Like any of the stuff that is custom should probably be locked behind paywalls if they want to get money from that. Or and I should have probably mentioned this earlier. I'm okay if you want to go ahead and support them outside of of it being locked behind a paywall, because that's fine, you know. If let's say that they gave the equipment and they hit potential for free, right? And you by yourself go ahead and support these the private servers on Patreon or some of the other places too, right? And you give like $10 a month, that's okay. That I'm okay with, because that's your choice and your money at the end of the day. But to have it where it's forced upon you is just silly to me, right? But that's how I was saying. I feel like a lot of the custom stuff, if not all of the custom stuff, you can lock that behind paywalls, and I'm completely fine with that. But some of the stuff that is already inside of Dokkan that again is not theirs should just be outright free, because why wouldn't it be, right? Now I do know that you are able to use some of the or not even some of them, I'm pretty sure it's like all the units, every single one of the units for free. I think you could either have them at 55% or rainbow, but you can't obviously change the hidden potential of it. You can't change the equipment for some of the private servers. um I'm assuming most of them probably have it where it's link 10 as well. So I guess that in itself is nice, but I feel like at that at the same time that should also just be a given, you know. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I'll probably do maybe just like one more here because I'm I I know I had like some ideas in my head of the things I want to talk about, but I'm getting close to like finishing and talking about all my points. But something else I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually get some of my friends, and we're gonna be discussing some of this stuff together. And you know, kind of going back and forth on some of the I don't know if I would say a debate. I would just say like a discussion of private servers, right? I already have one planned with JB, and I have one planned with Altaz. He used to be a Dokkan YouTuber, but now he does other funnier stuff too. So I'll be getting them in on here, doing some videos, or doing a video each for them, or doing video each with them. On the channel, obviously, like I said, go over some of the points that we talked about here today, but also some new stuff that I'm pretty sure that they probably have opinions on as well. I know that a lot of the like one of the points I'm probably gonna save for then, just so that way um it's not completely like I'm like just discussing everything here, and then later on when I do make those videos, I don't really have anything to talk about. One of the things I will save is them are that like private servers indirectly taking money from Dokkan sales because of it. But again, I'll probably save that for later, right? I'll save that for when we have the others on the channel, so that way we can, you know, have their opinions, their thoughts, and their discussions on that, because I don't want to, like I said, just talk about everything and then not be able to discuss anything with them. But other than that, if you guys have any thoughts, you know, or want to have a discussion in the comments, you know, talk about some of the stuff too, feel free to. Like I'm always happy to have a discussion if you think that you have like a different opinion on something, and I maybe got something wrong, or you think like, oh well, you forgot about this, or anything like that. If you just want to leave a comment, you know, I always try to check comments as soon as I'm able to. You'll notice that basically respond to each and every single one. But other than that, let me know what you guys think. Thank you as always, Will and Average, for being members. I hope you guys all have a great rest of your week. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this little different style of video that I made. But yeah, if you did, thank you. Make sure to leave a like I was saying earlier, comments and all that stuff. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.